What if I told you you're never going to die? Like ever. Indefinitely immortal. Infinite birthdays. Eternal Netflix subscriptions. And yeah, you might finally finish your to be read pile from 2012. Sounds kind of epic, right? But hold up. Before you start planning your 800th birthday bash or wondering if you're living with aliens or robots in the year 3025, let's talk. Because as cool as immortality sounds, it also means your existential crisis. Yeah, that bad boy is now permanent. You know that low-key panic of, I haven't done enough with my life? Imagine carrying that for the next 900 years. That's not just burnout. That's an eternal identity crisis with no exit strategy. Look, I get it. Life already feels overwhelming. We're all juggling work, relationships, health, taxes, therapy appointments. We keep rescheduling and maybe, just maybe, a plant we're trying not to kill. And we do all this with the underlying pressure of life is short. Better make it count. But what if life wasn't short? What if you had forever? Here's the twist. Even if we had all the time in the world, we'd still procrastinate, binge watch weird documentaries at 2 a.m., and avoid that one task we've been putting off since the invention of sliced bread. Immortality wouldn't magically make us productive or fulfilled. It would just give us more time to delay living with intention. But let's be real. If you've ever binge watched the Vampire Diaries or the Originals, you already know immortality isn't all moody stares, brooding over bourbon, and perfectly tousled hair. I mean, sure, living forever sounds glamorous until you realize you'll be stuck with the same emotional baggage, just stretched out over centuries. Look at Klaus. Centuries of power, wealth, and supernatural strength, and the man still couldn't work through his abandonment issues. Elijah, for all his sophistication, spent half his immortal life cleaning up Klaus's messes and the other half reliving heartbreaks in three-piece suits. That's the thing. Immortality doesn't freeze your pain. It amplifies it. You outlive your friends, your family, your great-great-grandkids, and their golden retrievers. You watch generations come and go while you're stuck in a loop of nostalgia and unresolved trauma. Time stops being a gift and starts feeling like a sentence. Even falling in love becomes terrifying. Because what do you do when you know you'll lose them? Again, and again, and again. Plus, immortality doesn't mean emotional maturity magically scales up. If you avoid your problems now, imagine doing that for 500 years. You just become a very tired, emotionally unavailable ancient being who still ghosted people instead of going to therapy. Forever. Like vampires need eternal life insurance just for the emotional damage. So yeah, the fantasy of living forever, it comes with serious side effects. Immortality gives you time, but it doesn't give you meaning. That part, that's still on you. Remember, you don't need endless time to live fully. You just need clarity and intention. So what's the real issue here? It's not about time. It's about urgency. The belief that life has a deadline is what motivates us to care, to try to grow. Without that ticking clock, we risk floating in a sea of meh, forever postponing everything that matters. Immortality doesn't solve the problem. It actually makes it worse. Now here's the science why bit. But don't worry, I'll keep it snackable. Psychologists call this temporal scarcity. When something is limited, it feels valuable. That's why we cherish childhood photos, freak out over flash sales, or binge eat cookies the day before we start the diet. Life's value comes from the fact that it ends. So what can you do with this insight? First, flip the script. Instead of dreading the shortness of life, use it as a feature, not a bug. That limited time, that's your superpower. Let's break it down into 3 totally doable steps you can try today. Step 1. Decide what actually matters to you. Not what you think should matter because of Instagram, Aunt Linda, or your old college roommate who now runs a startup and a six-pack. Just you. Write down 3 things that light you up. If it's making art or learning how to juggle while singing Taylor Swift. Own it. Step 2. Time block a tiny slice of your day for one of those things. I mean tiny, 5 minutes counts. Immortality or not, consistency beats grand gestures. You don't need to run a marathon today. Just put on the damn shoes. Step 3. Reflect weekly. That sounds serious, but honestly, just ask yourself once a week. Am I living in a way that future immortal me wouldn't regret? You can even do this while brushing your teeth. Double win. And hey, if the idea of reflecting makes you want to disappear into your duvet, start smaller. Like, leave a comment below and tell me what one thing you'd still want to do, even if you had 5,000 years to do it. That's your spark. The point isn't to beat the clock. It's to realize the clock is why your life has meaning in the first place. So here's your challenge. Before the day ends, try that one tiny step. Just one. Because whether we have 80 years or 800, it's the small, intentional moments that build a meaningful life. If this made you laugh, think, or even slightly panic about the future, hit that like button and subscribe. We do a lot of this deep thoughts, but make it fun content here. And hey, share this with someone who needs a little existential hug today, or someone who still thinks immortality would solve all their problems. Spoiler alert, it wouldn't. Now go, do one thing future you will thank you for, or at least won't side-eye you for. See you in the next video, unless I get trapped in a timeless void, which honestly sounds like a Tuesday.